So, hello and welcome to Pokemon Trading Card Game at Pokemon TCG Center. Today with me is Safraz Rasheed from the Top Med deck. Is that right?
Yeah,
So,
from the meta.
let me know where did you play with this deck and your accomplishment
Uh,
with it.
yeah, absolutely. So this was a deck that the entire team meta deck took to Florida regionals. It was one of the largest regionals of in history, I guess you can say. There were 620 masters that showed up for this regionals. Personally, myself, I finished 86th out of the 620. I ended up whiffing cut by one game, so I ended up going 5-2-2. Um, but one of our teammates did make top 32 with this exact 60 card list.
Well, I'm kind of surprised how good that deck was. I mean, I first time played this deck like 7 months ago, I think,
Yeah,
and it was definitely good. I mean, I saw a lot of potential in it, especially with Gyarados being able to one-hit knock with that full retaliation, pretty much everything.
yeah.
So that was definitely good. So, what kind of the matchups you had?
My matchups were actually pretty good for the most part. I actually took a picture of my matchups. So round one, I played against Volcanion, which is ideal. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
this
that's
deck
that's
doesn't lose
definitely
to Volcanion, so yeah, it was definitely an ideal matchup. Game one. So game one, I played against Volcanion. Game two, I played against Yveltal. It was an Yveltal Mew deck and he ran Yveltal Break, so it scared me really badly because
yeah,
Yveltal
that's
Break
true.
can, yeah, Yveltal Break can handle this deck very well. But he didn't get the energies out in time, and I capitalized on it by Lysandering out the break and taking a knockout, and he just couldn't recover after that. So I just ended up taking knockouts on the EXs. Um, and then round three, I faced the mirror match, which I didn't really expect to face much of. But this mirror match played the Meowstic EX that everybody's been talking about after Florida Regionals. The Meowstic EX has that ability where it allows you to take one damage counter from
Yeah,
your
yeah,
side
that's
of the
true.
field and move it onto your opponent's side of the field. So it's a huge counter for the mirror match. He ended up annihilating me game one. Game one, I just got completely destroyed because I didn't know what Meowstic EX did. I didn't even know it was a card before the event happened. Um, so round two, he dead drew really badly. He started with a lone Magikarp and ended up passing, and then I capitalized on that and took a knockout. And then game three ended up going to time, so we actually tied. Um, and game three, I just kept chaining hexes as much as I could so he couldn't use the Meowstic to take two prizes. And then it went all the way down to time, and we just ended up tying the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, I wouldn't say it's a big disadvantage Meowstic because if you can keep it basically with the hex, you can shut it down, and of course, it can exchange two prizes. I mean, once you can
Yeah,
actually Lysander, it can give you two prize knockouts. But
yeah,
the problem
absolutely.
is because he can use that ability from his bench, so that can be a big disadvantage actually.
Well,
Or
no,
he
the
needs to be in
ability
the active position.
it has to be
Oh,
active.
he
Yeah.
has to be active. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's the big difference then. Yeah.
yeah. It's a huge difference in the matchup. The problem with it is though is that he takes two prizes every turn if I don't hex. And I can't afford to hex every single turn because I have to recover. So it can be an issue. It definitely makes it a harder matchup than it's supposed to be. 100%.
Yeah, but it's probably just for the mirror match. Maybe he
Yeah,
expects something like a mirror or something like that.
it's mainly for the mirror match or the megas that have 220 damage. Like if you're playing against Rayquaza,
For
you can take the
example,
10
yes,
damage,
yes, yes.
move 10
True,
off, and then hit for 210. So
true,
that's the
true.
main reason for Meowstic. So round four, I play against Rith Key, and he was playing a Mega Gardevoir deck. And I usually have really good matchups against Mega Gardevoir. However, he played Galvantula, and I did not expect him to play Galvantula. So I was setting up. I did everything. I knocked out a Mega. Brings up a he benches a Joltik, and next turn I'm just like, holy crap! I need to get rid of that Joltik, and I couldn't take care of the Joltik in time. He just evolved it and took four prizes on Magikarps over two turns. So it just it really favored. It was a favorite in his side because of the Galvantulas. So I ended up losing round four. Um, Round 5, I play against Austin Vance, and Austin Vance was playing an Yveltal deck. It wasn't Yveltal Mew, it was Yveltal Darkrai with hammers. So I ended up playing against him, and I beat him both games because he can't really compete as much with the damage output for the prize trade. So I ended up beating him in round 5. Round 6, I played against Butch, and I don't really remember this matchup very well, but I think he was playing Yveltal as well. I saw a ton of Yveltal decks that day, which was I was happy with. It was just my last couple matches that kind of ended bad. But yeah, I beat Yveltal. Round 7, I played against Michael Grouse. Um, and to be completely honest, I do not remember what he was playing at all. I don't remember the matchup at all. I think I tied with him though. Yeah, that was a tie. Um, Round 8, I played against TJ Nelson, and he was playing Greninja. And Greninja is on paper a very unfavorable matchup for Gyarados. However, you can beat it if they don't have the right setup. So in the match with TJ Sawyer, I continued putting Gyarados out, and I would knock out Froakie, Frogadier, Greninja, and then he finally got a breakout. So by the time he got a breakout, I already took 4 prizes, and then I one-shot the break. So there was no way for him to come back, and I did that both games that we played. So if I would have dead drew in any of those games or whiffed a knockout, then he would have won. But that's how close the Greninja matchup is.
Yeah, definitely. If they manage to set up pretty quickly, I
Yeah,
guess it's very bad matchup for Magikarp. Definitely. I mean, it can be
yeah,
easily John Water Shuriken, so
yeah.
that can be a
If they
big
set up
problem.
if they set up 2 Greninja breaks, we lose. That's just how
Yeah,
it goes.
probably
Yeah,
yes, because you can't knock them out both, and they can easily exchange John Water Shurikens. That's
exactly.
correct. What about Giratina? I didn't face any of them.
I did actually. You know what? No, that's right. Michael Grouse, the one that I forgot, that was Darkrai Giratina. That was the Darkrai Giratina matchup.
Okay.
That was it right there. Yeah, that deck is just annoying to play against. Unfortunately, in that matchup, the Giratina didn't do as much to me as I thought it would have. Um, I have Pokemon Ranger in the deck. The reason that I lost the first game against him was because I prized 3 Magikarps and I could not do anything. With 3 Magikarps prized, you can't do anything. You're doing 30 damage. There's no point in continuing the game. So he won round 1. And round 2 was really close. I believe I won round 2. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember that matchup that well. And then round 3 went to time. Um, but yeah, it was crazy. I do not like playing against Darkrai Giratina with this deck. It completely gets annihilated. You can't play your stadiums, you can't recover, you can't play your DCEs. It's horrible. The 3 things that you need for Gyarados to work, you can't play. So
Yeah,
it's a really bad matchup.
that's definitely a big disadvantage. Yes, true. I actually end up playing your deck list. I really like it. The only
Mhm.
thing that I actually changed was a -1 Team Magma Secret Base, and I decided to go with the second Lysander,
Yeah,
just for that reason. When you actually can face those
Darkrai
Dark
Tinas.
Rage Retinas, actually you have more space creating with those Lysanders, actually trying to set up by Lysandering maybe another Giratina or maybe Darkrai because they have 2 or 3 retreat costs. And if they
Right.
actually discard resources like Escape Rope early or maybe Floatstone, you can
Right.
actually try to recover. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't see 2 cards also in this build, but that's the reason why you go probably for the best consistency you can get.
Yeah.
I actually
We
like to play Mr. Mime just because of
yeah.
those. Just the first thing I saw the list, I was like, well, there's no Mr. Mime. I don't know how
Yeah.
the Rainbow Road was going on because that girl eventually can easily snipe bench. I mean, it can easily clear those Magikarps.
Yeah.
And the second one, maybe that Jirachi with the Stardust. It can actually help you to recover that turn when actually you face that Chaos Wheel. Maybe with just 1 basic energy, but then in that case, I guess the deck wouldn't be that consistent as it was. And
Yeah, we tested it. Hunter and Franklin, the two guys on my team, they're the ones that created the list that we have. They're the ones that spent all the hours on it, and they tested it a lot of different ways. The original build had a 1/1 Remoraid Octillery. It had a 4/3 Gyarados, 1 Mr. Mime. And it had no acro bikes. It was 4 dive ball, 4 level ball, 4 puzzle, 2 special charge, 2 super rod. Like it was just full recovery list. And they tested it that way. Then they switched it up and they played it with shamans, and they tested it that way. And then they tested it with heavy supporters, less recovery. Then they tested it with more recovery, less supporters. They tested so many different builds. I think we had like 8 or 9 different builds of Gyarados going at one particular time. So they tested it beyond belief, and the list that they came up with, they found was the most consistent list to not have a dead hand. Because one of the biggest problems we had with the deck is that we would have dead hands, and we would draw into cards that are completely unplayable, start Magikarp, and lose on the second turn. So we decided that we wanted to make it where it gave the less opportunity for us to whiff Pokemon. So the build that we have consistently throughout the entire Florida regionals, I started Magikarp active, Remoraid on the bench with an additional Magikarp on the bench. That was my start every single game that I played. I did not whiff a start at all, and I never dead drew the entire tournament, which is something that's hard to say with Gyarados. So the list, I think, is just built for that more consistency versus the option to either go off or the option to have a dead hand.
Well, that's definitely good. But yeah,
Yeah.
in my opinion, running 2 copies of Special Charge and 2 Super Road can be a little bit of overkill, especially when you have 4 copies of Puzzle of Time. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't like to run double tech card when I have 4 pieces of puzzles because, in my opinion, it's just waste of space somehow.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. That's why we cut them. We cut it down to 1 special charge, 1 super rod, 1 town map, and then everything else was just straight consistency. Like I saw the other Gyarados list, and they played 4 Buddy Rescues. The problem with Buddy Rescue, for me at least, is when I played against a Mewtwo matchup, not in the tournament. It was outside of the tournament. I played against a Mewtwo matchup, and they played the 2 Baby Hoopas, the one that does 20 to 2 Pokemon for a colorless
Yeah,
energy.
yeah, that's a big disadvantage for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
horrible. And they played 2 of them. So every time I would knock out the active one, in order for me to recover, I'd have to buddy. And when I buddy, I just gave them their Hoopa back. So it was like it's not a win-win with buddy. So I like 4 Buddy Rescues, but I don't feel like it's necessary because once you take out your opponent's threat, you're essentially giving it back to them the next turn. So I like having more recovery in the form of puzzles and super rod than I like Buddy.
Yeah, true. I
It
mean,
was just me.
4 body rescue should have. I mean, more breed. I mean, it would be much more better if there is target whistle still in a format
Oh
because
yeah,
with
so
the
much
target
better.
whistle they have, for example, 2 different cards, 2 different Pokemon in their discard pile, and if they grab
Mhm.
one, you can easily target whistle something that have lower HP like Shaman or something like that, any kind of DEX, so you can Lysander it. Then
Exactly.
actually 4 copies of Body Rescue should have more sense than this.
Yeah.
So I actually
No, I agree
noticed.
100%.
Also, you had 2 copies of Teammates, so that's
Yes.
also interesting. Why you guys go with 2 copies of Teammates?
We went with 2 copies of Teammates initially, and we decided to just run it for the tournament. But before the tournament started, we were gonna cut the Teammates for a Mr. Mime. But we didn't expect a lot of Galvantula, so we were like, let's just leave the 2 teammates in. The reason we left it is because in testing, what we did was we did 40 games where we did like not playing against anybody. We just did ghost hands. So it was 40 ghost hand games where we drew 7 cards and then we put 6 prizes down and flipped them over. And we saw how many times teammates was prized. And if teammates was prized more than 50% of the time, then we wanted to play 2 copies because it's a very good card in the deck. It just allows you to get 2 puzzles when you need it. So doing those ghost hands, we realized that teammates was being prized actually 62% of the time. So since teammates was being prized so many times, we wanted to play 2 to make sure that it wasn't prized when we needed it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot
Hmm.
of sense. Yeah, definitely the deck list is great. I mean, running 3 Gyarados makes sense. I mean, I
Yep.
prefer 4. I don't know why. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I know end up without actually the 4 Gyarados. Sometimes I run when 1 or 2 Gyarados are prized, or I can't just find another one. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Somehow I prefer always to run 4 copies. But since you have those body rescues, since you have 4 pieces of puzzles, then you can actually grab Gyarados back
Yeah.
from your disco pile and evolve your Magikarp again.
Hmm.
For example, why no maybe a copy of Wally, maybe for that turn one
We tested
full
we
retaliation.
we tested it actually. We tested one copy of Wally. Franklin's actually the one that suggested it. He when in his initial testing, he was like, it would be so amazing to just get a turn one Gyarados and knock out an active EX if that's their only Pokemon. So he tested the one Wally. The only problem with Wally is that this deck doesn't go crazy turn one. So there's no Shamans for additional draw. There's no anything crazy to draw extra cards turn one, and there's no battle compressor in the format. So it was really, really hard to get the turn one Wally.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer. I mean, I played with Wally in my original version, but many
Hmm.
times I just use it to have that turn one artillery. Actually,
Yeah, you can
somehow I
definitely use it for
prefer
that.
that turn one Abyssal hand, especially without Garbodor
Absolutely.
around. It's very good to have.
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's actually a really good point. It's just we didn't really see the Wally on our turn one as often as we would like. But
yeah,
Wally
that's.
is definitely, if you can get Wally to work in this deck, it is fantastic. Because the games where we played where we did get a turn one Wally, either for Octillery or Gyarados, it was just fantastic. Like our opponent couldn't recover from it.
I mean, in theory, with such a list with 8 balls, you can probably maybe with one copy of Shaman find that one Wally.
Yeah.
But then I guess only one copy of Wally. I mean, with 45 cards, 40 cards left to draw. I mean, you need to
Yeah.
find that a single card, and let's say it's priced. I mean, the whole strategy will go down. So that
Yeah,
can be
that's
definitely a
the
big disadvantage.
right, that's the problem. It was like, do we want to run Wally and lose consistency, or do we want to run additional Wally to help with the turn one consistency? So it was just more of a meta call at the time. But Wally is definitely a great option for the deck. There's no reason not to play it.
So did you guys try maybe to test it with Fighting Fury Belt and Rainbow Energies? I also tried that, and it works pretty
Um,
well. I mean, but somehow actually with I don't know tool disadvantage. I mean,
yeah,
if there's any way actually to remove that tool, yes. For example, with that
there's
Friday Night Evil tool, that can be a big
right.
problem.
That's what I was gonna say because before the event, literally about 2 days before the event, I was playing Yveltal Mew. That was the deck that I was going to go into the tournament with. So Gyarados tested against the Yveltal Mew a lot because every time Hunter and Franklin would come over, they would test the Gyarados against my Yveltal Mew deck. And Fighting Fury Belt wouldn't work in the scenario because you'd put Fighting Fury Belt, attach Rainbow Energy, and then I would have a Fright Knight Yveltal active. There would be no reason to. You would just risk giving me a free knockout essentially. So I don't think we ever tested the Rainbow Energy Fighting Fury Belt just because in theory it wasn't going to work against all the Fright Knight in the building.
Yeah, I guess without Friday Night, it will have much
Hmm.
sense than with Friday Night
And
Evil
there was a
tool.
lot of Fright Knight.
Yeah, I can
There was a
expect to see
lot.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, pretty much. Who wants the regionals?
Who won the regionals?
Yes.
I think it was Azul. Azul.
What type of deck
Yeah,
he play?
he played Yveltal Garbodor.
Oh, Evoltal Garbodor. I
Hmm.
saw a lot of
Yeah.
Mega Mewtwo's actually. Not sure
Oh,
if.
there was a ton. And I missed them all. Mega Mewtwo is my favorite matchup, and I didn't get paired against it once in the tournament. And I was sitting there like, where are all the Mega Mewtwo's? I just want to face all of them. Like, just give me all the Mega Mewtwo's so I can
And
just
you
beat
didn't
them.
hit a single one. Yeah,
I didn't
that's.
hit a single one, and I only hit one Volcanion the entire day.
Yeah,
And
that's the
it
big
was
disadvantage. I mean,
yeah,
Volcanion is easy to beat. You need only one Magikarp and you can go for like
right,
180.
right.
So that's just
It's
ridiculous.
Yep, but I hit one Volcanion in the beginning and I hit no Mewtwo, and I was just like, it was crazy. The fact that we hit all the matchups we didn't expect to hit and still did really well though was a good thing because it showed that Gyarados can handle a lot of things even if it's not an ideal matchup. So I don't know. We really like the deck. I think if we go to another standard event, we might try to edit it a little bit just to make it more consistent for the meta. I know we've been testing out two Pokemon Rangers for the Darkrai Giratina matchup instead of playing two teammates. So we took one teammates out and we put in two Rangers instead. just in case one's prized, you have enough for that matchup.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. So let me tell just a few more things.
Sure.
So how many friends you have to who played with you? So you all played the Gyarados deck, or somebody
There
actually played
was
different list?
so there's 9 people on our team total.
Okay.
um, that play the game and test with each other. The only ones that didn't play Gyarados were our friend Robbie. He played Yveltal Mew. Our friend Nick, he played Mega Mewtwo. And Gary played, I think it was a Gardevoir deck. So those are the only 3 out of the 9 that didn't play Gyarados. The other 6 played Gyarados.
Oh, that's great. So the one actually managed the top 32.
Yeah, one of our Gyarados players, Franklin, the guy who essentially created this list, Franklin and Hunter. Franklin made top 32 with it. He ended off 6-1-2.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that the Team Magma Secret base price just went up so
Yeah,
high.
it
I
did.
mean, it's sold out everywhere. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
ridiculous. I
no,
mean,
it
I
absolutely.
definitely like that Gyarados list. It has a lot of magic. It's just way much better when you see that original idea that somebody play than
Yeah,
just heavy access or pretty much everyone else trying to copy the
yeah.
top tier decks that I actually see that everyone plays. I mean, it's just definitely
Hmm.
great. I mean, I love it. I actually fell in love with it like 7, 8 months ago when I
Yeah.
first time built it, and it's definitely good. So I end up beating my friends actually so many times with his Dark Red Giratina deck. I mean, he even
Yeah.
managed to use Chaos Wheel, but then that Pokemon Ranger is just too much for it. I
It's
mean,
so good. Yeah,
yeah,
Pokemon
it's
Ranger is amazing.
I mean, you can hit for 210 even with the fighting third belt. Giratina can't survive, so it's
Right.
definitely big disadvantage for those EX decks, especially exchanging 2 prize for 1 prize. I'm a big fan when you can exchange one
Hmm.
prize for 2 prizes. That's just amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely big.
so yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what to ask. I mean,
Oh no, that's fine.
I don't know what to ask. I'm not native English speaker, so it's kind of hard when it's much different when I actually record my videos because I'm like a
Right.
robot. I know what to say and I prepare myself. But when you face somebody to speak, it's a little bit harder to find exactly right questions.
Yeah,
It was
I get that.
definitely a big pleasure. So everyone who
Thank
didn't
you.
know for the meta deck, is it the meta deck?
Yeah, it's
YouTube
the meta
channel.
deck.
You can also
Yeah.
subscribe to the MetaDeck channel, so you can find the great videos here. And of course, you can see that Gyarados deck originally built that I actually stole and played, but I need to edit it. So I added
Yeah.
that second Lysander, and I might say that it actually helped a little bit. But the
Yeah,
reason
the
why I actually decided to add the second Lysander is the fact that I don't like to play 4 stadium cards
mhm.
in my builds. I don't know why, but somehow I prefer much more to have 3 copies of stadiums. But sometimes actually missing that Team Magma secret base with this Gyarados,
It
especially
hurts.
turn 1, it can be so devastating that
Yeah,
this
it
is just
hurts.
not true. I mean, I like to start turn 1 with full HP Magikarp in the Echo spot. I hate when
Right.
I start with my Remoraid and then I need to put that Magikarp down on the bench with my Team Magma secret base.
Right.
That's big disadvantage because those 20 damage on the Gyarados can be definitely big
It
disadvantage.
makes a huge difference. It's because there's not a lot of cards that hit 130 exactly.
Yes,
There's a bunch of cards that hit 120, and there's a bunch of cards that overkill 120. But
yes,
there's
that's
not a lot
true.
of cards that hit exactly 120. So
Yes,
you either have to force your opponent to overcommit or not take a knockout.
that's the reason why actually that Giratina can be so frustrating when actually
Hmm.
Giratina player face you because if you have full HP 130 Gyarados, you can just go for 100, 110, and those 20 damage can be big advantage. So
Absolutely.
maybe even taking one Jinx wouldn't be that bad. I mean, it can
One
heal.
Jinx, yeah.
Yeah, it can heal 10 damage from the active Pokemon. So, for example, if you put that Magikarp on the bench, you can have 20 on it. But when you evolve, you can heal that 10 extra damage. So you can, for example, survive one Chaos Wheel. So that
Yeah,
can also be a big advantage. I mean, in the standard format. So
that's
even
absolutely
even
true.
even that Jinx is not that bad. I don't know if you maybe think. Did you guys think maybe about Jinx? Probably not.
We didn't
Did,
actually. We didn't even think Jinx would be an option for the deck, but that actually makes a lot of sense. Jinx would
yeah,
be great.
actually, it can help. It can help, especially
Hmm.
against those Giratina decks. I mean,
Absolutely.
I guess Giratina is the biggest problem. I mean, if you can
It
face it,
is. It
I
is.
I I saw one uncommon. Not sure what's the name. Everybody in Virbank actually posted. It can does 10 damage to each of your benched Pokemons. Not sure what's the name of the card. I mean,
Spinda?
it could be. It could be.
Yeah,
I
it could have
think it
been
is.
Spinda.
I
Yeah,
think it
it's
is.
definitely.
Yeah. Pretty much they say, well, there's a new counter for Gyarados. Well, forget about it. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not a. It's not really a new counter. Going into the tournament, we went to Cool Stuff in our area, and we bought Spindas to play in the mirror match or for the mirror match. But Spinda's definitely not a new tech at all. It's been known for like the last 3 months or 4 months, and so is the Celebi.
oh
Um,
yes, Celebi,
the promo
Celebi, yes,
Celebi,
yes,
yeah,
yes. I
for
know
grass
it. Yeah,
energy, it does
yes,
10 as well. So
yes. No, he actually puts one damage counters. He does not
yeah,
does. He puts, yeah,
it
and he
puts, yeah, he gets
actually,
over mine.
yeah, he's definitely great.
Hmm.
That's true. That's true. Yes, he can't be blocked. So I actually discovered that card when I built Mega Alakazam with it. But then actually
Okay,
later I come around with that Baby Hoopa is actually much better than
it's so good.
Celebi. Yes, I mean it can snipe
Baby.
two for 20. I mean it's definitely good for one energy card. It's
Hmm.
definitely a good card. I mean,
And it's used in the Mega Mewtwo mirror to soften up the Megas, so that way you don't have to attach as many energies to one shot them, so they can't one shot you back.
yeah, that's true. I mean the biggest Mega Mewtwo disadvantage is definitely that he can hit for that weakness
Right.
somehow. I mean, if he can go for weakness, I think it would be too strong.
Yeah. No, that's
Probably it
true.
would be
If
too strong.
it'd be way too strong, there'd be no legitimate counter to the deck
Yeah, I mean, with
at
just
that
one
point.
double course energy, you could go for like 140 or
Mm,
something like that. So that would be just too much.
yeah.
So yep, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. But I guess
No, absolutely.
you're not
I
here
just want to
to ask.
say,
But
I definitely want to say thank you for having me on the
yeah, no
channel.
problem, no
It was a
problem.
great opportunity to be on here, so I appreciate it.
No problem. It was also a big pleasure to spoke with you.
Yeah,
So thanks one more time for participating in this. If you guys already didn't subscribe, you should definitely check that the Team Meta deck. I will also link you the link in the video description, so you can
thank you.
find that. So that was pretty much it. Thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, bye.